What is going on, guys? Welcome to another Dent Digest live show, episode number 30. I got a special guest here, Jason Huddleston. What's going on, Jay?
How's everybody doing? Everything's going good with me. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Definitely. So I want to get into last week's show a little bit. I don't know if you guys missed it or not. I had Aaron from good old Australia talking about his Vegemite. You know, that guy, he was here in the States for 3 weeks. Can you imagine being away from your family for 3 weeks? And you're not like even in the same time zone here, you know? He had the best pants, though. Aaron had the best pants in the house.
Yeah, he wouldn't tell anybody where he got them either.
England. They're from England.
Yeah.
They're called Snickers.
Snickers,
See?
yeah, that's it.
I got it. I can't remember what I ate for lunch, but I can remember the Snickers. Yeah. So his story was unique with training with a guy in Australia, doing a ton of dent trainer, and then coming over here for the Mega Media event. Did you get to spend any time, really have any conversations with him, Jason?
Absolutely. I talked to him a bunch, actually. And then I called and was talking to Mike one day, and he was training, and then we sat and talked for a little while too. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah. He just a really nice dude. You know what I mean? I mean, just a rounded. Him and Kevin from Australia were just. Kevin's a straight shooter, good dude. But Aaron was just fun to talk to, and I mean the Vegemite put me over the edge.
Yeah, I missed that one.
It was probably the worst thing that I've had in a long time.
I asked this when y'all were talking about that at the Mega Media event. Was it worse than the buzz button?
I would do the buzz button again.
But not the Vegemite?
Vegemite's not going to happen. Yeah. But he wants me to try some, what did he call them? They're like these little brown cookies. But yeah. I told him anything brown from Australia now, I'm staying away. 100%. So, he spent time, came to Mega Media, and then spent 2 weeks with Mike Toledo. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that Tesla fender that he fixed?
Yeah, that was a hell of a repair right there. It was an awesome repair.
Terrible fender.
Wow.
So I wanted to bring Jason on. He's got a new little project that just really I've known about it for some time, but just pretty much launched at Mega Media event, right?
Yeah, I turned it on at Mega Media event. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the PDR
Media Trainer. Yeah. So it's to help people.
Good. Mm-hmm. It's to help people?
Well, it's to help people people who are just starting out, or people who are trying to figure out about about doing media stuff, Google AdWords, how to set up your Google My Business. If you're doing it yourself, you don't have a large budget, and you can spend a little bit of time. These videos get down to just basic, right now the basics, and then it'll get more advanced as time goes on.
So let's get into your backstory a little bit. Let's get into how you got into paintless dent repair, how long you've been doing it, who trained you. Let's start from day one. How did you even get introduced to paintless dent repair?
Okay, so I was in the body shop industry since I was a kid. My dad was a paint and body man and a body shop manager, and I helped him out obviously whenever I was a kid, and then I got into the business as a painter, and then ended up moving into the office, ended up getting into management, and the first time I ever really paid attention to a PDR guy was like probably 2002, and I was managing a shop in Lubbock at a dealership called Frank Brown Auto and Truck Ranch. As we all know, Lubbock gets a lot of hail, and there was a lot of PDR guys up there, and we'd call them in, and I was just absolutely amazed by it. And I said, I really wanted to get into it. I was trying to actually talk a guy who left Bodywork, who's a really good technician, into coming to work for me. And he was like, there's no way I'm leaving doing PDR. So as I started talking to him about it, I was like, well, how do I get into that? he said, man, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, look, he said, I made $120,000 a year as a body man. It was a really good tech. And he was like, but the first year I did PDR, I made $25,000. And he was like, man, I went through all my savings. And he was like, man, said it was tough. And he goes, the second year I made $200,000. And I was, my first thought is, I can't make $25,000 per year. There's no way I can do it. I just can't make it. So I put that thought in the back of my head, and it stayed there for years. And I ended up moving to Alaska and was running production at a big dealership up there. We've been open since the 30s. I was up there for like 5 years, and it was the best place I ever worked. And
did you have to deal with a lot of Eskimos?
First of all, the one big mistake, and then the first thing someone told me whenever I went to Alaska was, you never call the natives Eskimos. Native Americans.
Eskimos.
Yeah, get upset. But anyway, so basically I went up there. I decided I was going to move back after 5 years, and I didn't want to get back in the body shop industry in Houston because it's just, cutthroat. And so there's a PDR guy up there that I used, and I started talking to him about it. And I was telling him the story about how I'd wanted to get into PDR all the time. And he was like, oh, no, man, there's guys out there that can train you a whole lot faster than that now. And he goes, here, listen to this podcast. So he's like, my friend has a podcast, just listen to it. So I started listening to PDR College. And then I got sucked into PDR College, started listening to it, all binge listening to it. Ended up hearing Mike Toledo on there. So I ended up calling Mike, kind of researched a bunch of trainers, decided to go with Mike for a few different reasons. But the main reason was because he only took 2 people at a time. And so I went and trained with Mike for a month in August of 17. And, before I even started, it was, I decided that was what I was going to do. And I'm just the type of person that I'm either all in or I'm all out. So before I ever went and trained, I got my website up. I got my Google My Business. I set up an AdWords. I set everything up ahead of time, Facebook, all of it. So I was pretty much ready to go whenever I left from Mike's. I turned my AdWords on and I drove home. It took me 2 days, and I woke up the first morning I was home and had a picture of a dent. Like, how much does it cost to get this fixed? I was like, because I was scared to death, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this will work. And then after that, it's just been nothing but good. It's been a blessing.
So you're one of these line guys.
I am.
You can even fix a dent with those things.
So the thing about lines is, I learned on lines. I actually love using lines. I use it every day. Now I also use fog. So I'm probably 50-50 on them now. A lot of times I'll put both boards up there because for some reason I can see, a dent better on fog, depending on where it's at. Sometimes I can see it on lines. Sometimes I can start it out better. Sometimes I finish it better. It just depends. So I like to have both of them available. When I started doing, getting some hail jobs, I kind of started using fog. I started using the fog a lot, and I saw there was a lot of good things about it, but I think there's good and bad about both of them. I think fog was a whole lot easier to learn because I knew lines. Rather, I think it would have been harder to learn lines after if I had already been using fog.
Let me tell you, I can't see a damn thing in those lines.
Well, I'll tell you about lines. I can see crowns and things way better with lines than I can see with them with fog. But I can finish a little bit better with fog than I can with lines.
Yeah, I put it up there. I really can't finish. Can't do anything. I can't even make a PB&J sandwich with lines. Yeah. It's like reading Spanish to me. I'm like, everything this looks terrible. I can't tell what's high. I can't tell what's low. And I'm like, dude, this is the worst. So we do have a question.
Sure.
James Brown's asking, did you jump right in after training, or did you wait?
No, I was on board. Like, I didn't have a job. So it was, I knew whenever I came, it was going to be all or nothing. I mean, I put everything I had into it. I mean, there was nothing, there was no turning back. It was just I was going to either, make it and make it and do well, or I was going to fail, and failing wasn't an option. So like I said, the day I got home on a Sunday night. I woke up Monday morning, had a picture of a dent, put a price on it. I didn't actually get that job, but I got 2 or 3 more that day, and the next day I had work. So don't get me wrong, it wasn't like right off the bat I had 7 jobs a day or anything like that, but I was making a good living.
Trial by fire, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I really think when you're put into that position and you have to make it work, you know what I mean? Like, you really have to, you don't have any other options.
Yeah.
When you're at that point, you come out of training, you're like, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
I don't have an option.
No, you really don't. I mean, not in that situation, and it was tough. I mean, I believe that, honestly, the toughest part about it was, tackling stuff that I really wasn't ready for. But, I was kind of the guy, I didn't want to give anything up, and I wanted to try everything, because if I could get it fixed, then I could get paid for it, and so, I think that was, it was in the beginning, it was really frustrating, that part of it. And we all know the beginning to learn how to do dents and then as you start to get better at the small ones, the larger ones, are still hard and that kind of thing. But it's just one of those deals where you gotta make it work. And I learned a lot from it,
So in the beginning, why did you pick Mike? Let's start there.
Well, like I said, I picked him. The main reason was because he only takes 2 people at a time. And I knew I would get that one-on-one time with him. I also researched a couple other places, and there are a few other people that do the same thing. But, obviously Mike is really well known, and I didn't know that, it wasn't like I knew a lot of people in the industry. So I kind of went with what seemed like the best at the time. And it turned out to be the best thing I ever did. I mean, I'll be perfectly frank. And I mean, Mike and I are friends. He doesn't, I don't think I could have done this without him, in so many different ways. Without him, I probably wouldn't have made it through training. The first 2 weeks of training, I was like, I might have just screwed up.
Well, we've all said that. That's not just
like,
you,
all this money, and I was like, this is hard. And and my best friend was actually going to train with him the next month. So I'm talking to him every day. I'm like, oh, dude, this is so hard. This is so hard, man. I might have messed up. And he's like, well, tell me now, man, because I'm doing all this money for no reason. If you can't do it, I can't. And I was like, nah, man, it'll be all right. Well, and then about 2 weeks in, I had a breakthrough, and things got better. And and it wasn't just that, man. I mean, Mike showed me a lot. He put together my first website. He did a lot of things for me. He was always there whenever I needed to call him about anything, whether it had to do with dents or marketing or anything like that. I mean, he really supported me, and and that was a big benefit for me too. Absolutely.
I think has that mentor end of him. You know what I mean? He when he brings you guys on, he kind of spends that time to really figure you out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that helps with the techs that are out there that have been trained by him, helps them break through the hard end of it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The mental part of it. I've got Shane, and he's struggling right now. So he's been through it forever. And he's just like, man, today he said it. He said, I thought I was going to be able to pick this right up like it was nothing. And I looked at him and I said,
Didn't we all?
I remember in the beginning, I said, good luck.
Yeah. That's exactly
I said, if you pick this up, you're a savant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, Mike told me from the very beginning, look, this is not going to be easy. And, and I knew it was going to be hard. I mean, I did know it was going to be hard, but I'm pretty good with my hands. And I've been, and especially with people with the body shop background, they're all like, I know how to work metal, Yeah. No, it's not.
I like the body guys that are like, man, I tried that and that shit's hard.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've heard the story about Hudson, right? Where he had a hood with a bunch of dents in it, and everybody at the shop, and it's a shop right down the road from my house, and a couple of these people were my friends, and he was like, and they kept calling him, hey, easy money, because he'd come in, fix the dent, leave, whatever. So one day he drops $100 bill on this hood and was like, hey, there's my tools. I'm going to lunch. If any of y'all can fix this dent by the time I get back, you can have this $100 bill. Yeah, nobody could do it, and they tried.
So Joe's asking, he's using a limited light version 2, but it doesn't seem to be bright enough. Who makes the brightest mobile light? I think if you take that a limited light and you put a clear lens in it, so James Lee sells a clear lens, makes all the difference. I don't even use the white frosted. I use a straight clear lens. I've never used a Stucky, so I don't know the difference in brightness from a Limbident to the Stucky. What do you use, Jason?
I actually use a Limbident. So I have 2 Limbident lights. I have one for fog, one for lines. I have the original Mike Toledo version, and then I have a one with the auto focus up on it.
Yeah.
And then I have a Dentrix big light, and 36-inch that I use for.
He says Dentrix has the brightest light.
I mean, it's mine's, it's bright. I mean, it works extremely well. I've seen a few. I went up to Scato's place and worked with him for a week, and the Pro PDR light, I love it. Like, I love the fog on it. If you're going to be using fog, it's awesome. I will say that the new, I also got to work with the new James Lee light a little bit when Sapnew was down, when Ray Sapnew was down here, he had it, and before it came out, and that thing is absolutely awesome.
I think what helps with that is you can move the lens in and out.
You can. Well,
you get a little bit different of a fog.
Yeah, you can definitely change it up, even on the little lights when you can move them in and out. And as far if you're talking about a hill light, that big, the big Illuminant light is a little bit heavy, but man, you can put it on the roof of the Suburban and put it up in the front. You can see the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So since we're talking about tools, what'd you bring? You brought some tools that have been your goes.
Yeah. So this is one I got at MTE, and this is a triple bend stand liner tool. I've been using. I'll put it up here.
They consider that their door tool, right?
This one actually I think is more for fenders. I do use it on doors. I'll put it in a door. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of luck with getting a dent clean with this. I'm better with a couple other tools. I really like this one for sliding this in. Just sliding it in underneath the fender liner and reaching in and grabbing a dent, or right on the edge of a fender, I can catch this hook right there and catch that right in the edge on there. Worked really well. I took 2 dents out of an ATS today with this, and right on the in between the door and the wheel, and I mean, they just came right out like butter. It was awesome, and you get just the right amount of leverage on it. It's a great tool. I brought one more. It's my boy's tool right here. So this is a small dent reaper rod. I did buy the set, and I have all of them. I probably use the red handle one the most. I really like this one. Whenever I was doing hail this summer, you get a hail rod and you start coming back, and you're getting closer, and you're getting towards the airbags, and you got a hail rod. You really don't want to switch tools. Well, I kind of keep this one right there close, so it'll just hook right in. and get those ones right on the edge, right before the airbags, just pop it right out.
That set, okay, and I have a lot of guys call and ask me and say, what's the deal with the, why am I getting Siri? Siri's talking to me in my ear. Anyway, they're like, what's the deal with the Reaper rods? And I'm like, don't even ask, just buy them. And I'm friends with John.
Yeah.
John and I talk. I mean, we talked for, I don't know how long. He was driving the Branson.
Yeah.
They are my go-to now.
Yeah.
The blue one stays in my bag. The red I use all the time, and I just used the green today, and I like that it's a dual function tool.
Yeah.
I use the back side of it to where it's like a stand liner, kind of soft, kind of massage it flat, and the strength of it, there isn't a whole lot of flex.
No, not much.
I use the blue one for fenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get enough leverage right in there because of that big hump on the tire. They're just, and for the price point, I mean, you can't ask for a better rod set.
No, they're a phenomenal tool. I mean, I'll be honest, I bought them, and I don't want him to take this the wrong way. I bought them in the beginning because we're friends, and I was like, it's my boy's tool. I got to buy them, and then I put them in the back floorboard of my truck, and the next thing you know, I was like, here, let me try this, and then I just grabbed it more and more and more, and it sits with my stand liner tools, which are my go-to tools in the beginning. So whenever I start a repair, so. Yeah.
So we were just talking to Mr. Vidine.
Yeah.
And he's at Branson at the PDR World Cup, and he just launched a new tool about an hour and a half ago. You didn't even know about it. I was telling you about it as we came on. So he's got the new Dent Reaper Fat Baby. And what it is it's his original Dent Reaper, which is 7/16 thickness, but it's only 17 inches long. So it's exactly the same length as your baby blue Reaper, but it's 7/16 thick.
Yeah.
As soon as we get off of here, I'm ordering it. It's Jay Gearhart. Let me tell you, this guy, I can't even take I can't look at this guy. Threw me off my game, Jay. So anyway, he makes them in a ratcheting or a non-ratcheting. The non-ratcheting is $89. The ratcheting is $129. Just buy the ratcheting. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, I put the Viper grips on them, and amazing.
Yeah, if a tool has a ratcheting handle and it comes with a ratcheting handle, that's the version I buy. I don't really buy anything else.
Yeah, it's I'm excited for that tool because I use the baby blue all the time, and I'm like, man, I think sometimes this could have a little more ass behind it.
So I don't have the baby blue. I have the little red. I have the original, and I didn't get the baby blue. But now that he's getting it, I'll probably just buy that one and just have that one.
Yeah. It's Dent Reaper Tools. Go to his website, order it up. John's a good dude. He's just a dent guy. You know what I mean? He's just a good dent guy. He'll be back on the show. He's got a ton of new stuff coming out, so I'm super excited for that.
John's a good dude. He's about as good. He's about as awesome as they come.
So let's get into your new thing. Since we got into the tools, we got into a little bit of your history. Let's get into your PDR Media Trainer. What's it all about? Let's explain to these guys what you have.
So my original idea on it. Last year, I've spoken at the last two mega media events, and you go there and they have all the new information and all the cutting edge stuff and the photos and everything. Whenever I spoke, I had a lot of people call me afterwards, and they asked me about this, and they asked me about AdWords, or they asked me about Google My Business, or SEO stuff, that kind of thing. And I learned all that stuff myself. So, let me go ahead and back up a little bit. So I told you I set all that stuff up before I got started, and what ended up happening is I went to for a while, I was probably the first 6 months, like I wasn't moving past the third page and with my organic listing, right? And my, Google My Business and stuff was doing okay. My AdWords was doing great. And I was steadily working on AdWords and learning it and refining it. And I was basically living off that, but I'm having to pay for ads, right? So,
of course.
So I went to this, I'm trying to learn about search engine optimization to get my website up higher. And so I'm studying this stuff, but I was like, I'm not going to learn this fast enough. So I ended up hiring a company to try, and I basically went to them and said, hey, what's it going to take to get me to the first page? And they said, it's going to cost this much, and we can do it in 3 months. I said, okay. So I wrote them a check. 3 months later, you couldn't find my website on the web. So
what?
And it was a very large check that I wrote them, and I was pretty upset about it. And I'll be honest, man, they worked really hard and they tried really hard. They couldn't figure out what it was, and I basically was like, look, this is never going to happen to me again. So I fired them, and then I went through, started researching. I found another guy that kind of mentored me on how to work a website, put it together, that kind of thing. And I ended up redoing my website for a third time, and within a week of having it up, I was on the first page. It was like the number 4 on almost all the searches. So it took a long time. There was a lot of study. I mean, you're talking 4 or 5 hours a night, every single night, going through and trying to figure all this stuff out. But anyway, back to it. I went to the Mega Media event. A lot of people were asking me questions, and I was like, well, what about the nuts and bolts of putting this stuff together? We can talk, about doing it and, talk about how important it is, get some bits and pieces. But when you go to a place, you go to the Mega Media event, there's all this information overload, right? And, you're writing it down.
Not at all.
Not at all. I mean, because honestly, it's my favorite event of the year. It really is. The camaraderie there, everybody's in the right mindset. Everybody's going toward the same direction. Everybody wants the same thing. It's freaking awesome, But I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? So basically what I did is I put a tutorial site together. So I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share on this, if that's cool, and I'll kind of show them exactly what it is. So right here. Okay, so basically it's going to be courses, so I have one here for Google My Business on how to put your basic Google My Business page together, some more advanced navigation and how to get around in it, and some more intricate stuff in there, like how to differentiate your different businesses, like say you have 2 locations or, 2 different cities that you're working in or something like that. Have some Google My or some AdWords stuff, and these tutorials are basically like videos, and they're me going through and actually making an ad or setting up your Google My Business page, like step by step, explaining what each one of them does and what each section is and why you should click this button and what that means. So basically, if someone wants to say they want to put a Google My Business page together, they can play my video, get to a certain point, stop it, go to their setup, do exactly what I tell them, go back, watch part of the video, go back, and it's just basically a step-by-step on how to do it right. And this,
you do speak pretty good Google Spanish, though.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, you get this guy on the phone about this, and I'm like, hold on. What in the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it gets complicated. There's a lot of terms that you have to learn. And whenever I was trying to learn all this stuff, it was, I'm the type of guy I really get into something, and I would get into it, and I would be looking at one thing, and then all of a sudden I would see a term that I didn't know, and then I would jump down that rabbit hole, and it would literally be like 2 or 3 days later, I would get back to my regular subject that I was learning about,
Yeah.
I want to take all that out for people, just basically, say, hey, this is what you need, and this is why you need it. And even if this isn't something that you want to do yourself, some people, when I first started, I didn't have the budget to hire someone else. I had to do it all myself. So, especially after I spent the money that I spent with that SEO company, it was like, okay, I can't take this kind of loss again. So, but even if it's something that you don't want to do yourself, when you hire somebody to do it, you have to know enough about it to know that you're not getting screwed. You know that someone isn't getting over on you and that they're doing the things that they're supposed to do. And you got to know the right questions to ask, you know, and know whenever they're talking to you, what at least enough about what they're talking about to know whether you're getting bullshitted, you know, because there's a lot of that out there, you know. Don't get me wrong. There's some really good SEO people out there, some really good AdWords people out here. Lynn, I think Lynn's on here. I thought I saw him a while ago. So super great guy, you know, super good at what he does. But, you know, and if you want to hire him, that's awesome. But, you know, whether it's, you know, John, Mike, Lynn, or whatever SEO company out there, I mean, you always need to know a little bit about what you're paying for.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And for me, perfect example, I don't know a damn thing. You know, originally I have run Google AdWords, and I had a friend that had a media company that handled it, and it definitely paid for itself.
Right.
But, you know, a lot of the things you have to think about with AdWords too is it's constantly changing. You constantly have to go in there and make adjustments.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, and here's the thing. Once you start seeing, if you're doing it yourself, it was my experience. Whenever I first started out, I was spending a ton of money on AdWords, and I had it. I mean, it was working, but I was very inefficient about it. And over time, I critiqued it to the point to where I was spending about a third of what I originally was for the same amount of revenue return, or, you know, ROI.
Yeah.
And, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, but what I want to do with this PDR Media Trainer is get the basics of, you know, Google My Business, AdWords, some SEO stuff on there, Facebook, how to set up your Facebook, how to set up your Instagram. And then basically I'll go more and more in depth about each subject. Also some tutorials on how to use things like Over, like Quick, you know, that kind of thing. And
Over's the bomb.
Huh?
Over's the bomb.
Over.
I should have never let that get that out of the bag. I should have kept that to myself.
I know. I pulled it up. That's all I've been using. So it's one of those, I mean, that was a great tip. And, you know, but that's kind of what I want to do. I want to make it a little easier for people. It was so hard for me, and I went through a lot of headache. It'll, you know, spend a lot of money that I didn't need to spend. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there that are really looking to do things and do it right. And, you know, a couple people have, you know, said, like, you know, why are you going to these events and telling people, you know, what you have going on and the things that you've worked hard to learn? You know, I mean, dude, there was 3 other people from Houston there, you know?
Yeah.
But I look at it like this, you know, in our industry, still about 60% of the people that I go do dents for, they've never heard of PDR until, you know, they found me on the internet, or they found it on the internet.
Perfect example, Matt Moore.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Look at that.
Called my girl and ordered the clipboards. Already has them in hand.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know.
So,
but
you know,
we still have to get the word out. Period. Everybody needs to do better marketing. Everybody in this industry needs to do better marketing, because it's going to do nothing but make things better for all of us. Because I mean, look at how many, you know, how many body shops are within like a 10-mile radius of my house? Hundreds.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and you know how many dent guys there are within a 10-mile radius of my house? 2, besides me. You know, and it's just, that's not, and one of them chases hell. So most of the time. So,
and I think the more professional we are, the more prepared we are, the easier the jobs are going to come.
Yes.
You know, you get a lot of guys. I've been stopped a million times, and people have said, "Oh, you're those guys that fix those cars in the parking lots," and I'm like,
"Nah,
nope, no gypsies here."
No,
you know what I mean?
No, and you know, I mean, not to say that there's, you know, I mean, you know, hell chasers out there around tents and stuff, man, they're making money just like everybody else. You know, you know, I mean, they're out there working hard, and I mean, that's a hard life too. But it's, you know, and you know, here in Houston, you know, I try to be as professional as possible. I want my website to be as professional as possible. All my stuff to look professional. Because, you know, we have people here in Houston. I don't know if you have, I'm sure it's probably everywhere, but there's people who go up to individuals in parking lots and like, hey, I can fix this dent in your fender. And then I don't even know what they're putting on it. They're just putting a bunch of crap on it, you know, and then like spray painting it or whatever, and then make them pay for it. It's you know, it's ridiculous. So I don't want anybody ever mistaking me for one of those guys.
Yeah, it's tough. I remember one of my competitors when I first started RPS, he's like, "Why are you logoing your truck? That's stupid." And I was like, "Why not?" He's like, "I don't want all those people calling me." He now has his trucks logoed.
Yeah, that don't even make sense to me.
And for me, you know what it is for me? And it's a proven fact, okay? I had a guy found me on Google, called. I drove over there. It was a Range Rover Sport. I get out. Truck logoed. Shirts have logo. Hats have logo. Business card matches. I give him my card, and he goes, "You know what? You were about $350 more than the guy that was here this afternoon." But he pulled his tools out of a Toyota Prius with a T-shirt with holes in it, and I told him to pack his shit up and leave. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He has a Rolls-Royce Phantom and a Bentley, so you never know what kind of person you're dealing with. And for me, it's that perception. It's all perception based. You know what I mean? When you're pulling up to a house and the guy opens up the garage and he's got $2 million worth of cars in there.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
he's comfortable.
I had a guy call me with I don't know, it had to have been like an 05 Corolla one time, and it was like his everyday driver. I pull up to his house, he opens up his garage, and he's got a $60,000, 69 Camaro in there, and he's got, he had me end up working on 3 cars. I thought I was going over there to fix a dent on a Corolla. I was like, okay, whatever. But you really never know who it's going to be, or who they know, or who they're going to recommend you to.
Exactly. It's all perception, and it's sad that the world's that way. How they receive you right off the bat, how they take you. And I just feel more comfortable. I'm not just one of those guys that are in to get your money and leave.
No. And so a long time, I heard somebody say this the other day, and it might've been on your show but talking about the difference between a customer and a client.
Oh yeah.
Was that at the Mega Media event? We were talking about that? When I first started my business, I referred to everyone as a client, because I want to build a relationship with those people. I don't want to, with everybody I deal with. I don't want to think of them as a customer, like, they just walked into Walmart or, something like that, or I'm just, in and out. Hey, if you need me for it, because they had people. I had a lady call me the other day. I went and fixed the dent on her Challenger, and she lives about an hour and 15 minutes away from me. She called me to ask me if I knew anyone that could put the speakers, like her outdoor speakers, in on her porch, because I'd recommended something else for her. She just called me just to ask if I knew anybody, and I ended up finding somebody for her, and she ended up getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, and I had, that was one of the things I spoke about at MME, was America's changed in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
People don't want to deal with corporate America. They want to deal with Jason.
Yeah.
They want to deal with Ryan. They want to deal with Don. If you walk in Don's shop, he talks to every single customer and makes them feel like they've known them for 25 years.
Yeah.
And you know why they come back? They could go there's a lot of dent guys in that area. You have John Vidine, the Dent Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
You have Q.
Sure.
There's a lot of guys in a little bit of area there, but they go back to Don because he makes them feel like they've known him, and he's been there for 30 years.
Right. Yeah, and it's like people watching you fix a dent. It cracks me up. People are like, I don't like them watching me. And I'll be honest, if it's a really, really hard dent, sometimes it's a little frustrating. But for the most part, when somebody says, hey, do you mind if I watch? Absolutely not. You know why? Because that gives me time to sit there and talk to them. By the time I leave, I know about their family.
Yep.
I know about mine. I leave. We have a rapport and a relationship built.
I just had a customer. It was kind of a unique situation, and I've never had this happen to me before. Gnarly dent in a fender. I mean, it was terrible. I quoted it at $450. I got there, and I was like, oh no. This is way worse than what you could only see half the damage. And he's got his grandson. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'm going to turn this car around in your garage and really get my head down. And he's got like lights set up for me all over the place, because everybody thinks you can just work off of this magical lights. So he is so passionate and so worried about me holding his keys that he had to have them. So I get the car set. I'm like, here's your keys. I go, okay, puts them in his pocket, and he goes inside the house and leaves his 4-year-old grandson outside in the garage with me. And I'm like, this dude is so worried about his keys, but he left his grandson with me. And they literally sat there for 4.5 hours and watched me work, both of them.
Yeah.
And Shane's like, I don't know. And I was like, I have struggled. This dent kicked my butt.
Yeah. I had a lady, that same thing happened to me. She actually pulled the lawn chair up outside and she sat in the grass, but she was literally like 2 feet behind me, looking right over my shoulder while I fixed her fender. And it was a huge smash on this Cherokee or something. And she was like an Uber driver, and she was telling me all about Uber and, and this and that, trying to get me to sign up for Uber. I need to be a driver.
Yeah.
But then by the time I left, I promise you she'll call me anytime she has.
Oh my gosh. Your repair could have been subpar, and you just talking to her like a human being.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah.
And she's going to tell 5 people that evening, I had this guy come to my house, fix my car, and he was so pleasant.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, it's all about how you try it.
It's about the experience, man.
Treat them like clients. Don't treat them like customers. That's
the
way it is.
We got Mr. Aaron in here from Australia. I bet you he's eating some Vegemite right now.
What's going on, Aaron?
With some cheese, American cheese, and some bread. Killing it. So the customer sees that you're an artist and not just popping dents out. I had a guy come over to me, and I had my illuminant light on the side of the car, and he goes, big suction machine. I was like, you're right. You're right.
I explain it to them. People ask me, are you putting heat on it with that? That's the one you gotta get the most, or what is that? Are you putting heat on that? And I'm like, no, that's not what this is. And I pull them over and I show it to them. I'm like, look, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm doing it. Because it's a lot of people don't want to do that, but it's not like they're gonna pick up my tools and start fixing cars. Like I'm giving away a big secret or something. I'm just like, look, the lines on this board, it distorts the lines, or the fog on this board does this, and this is how I find my tool.
Yep.
This is how I'm fixing your car. This is how I know how to fix your car. And and by the time I'm done explaining to them exactly what's going on, they watch it for it, they're amazed.
Yes. It's educating, man.
Absolutely.
And like I said, the more you teach them, the more they're going to tell their friends, their relatives, and it's fun. I enjoy that part. I enjoy going out and meeting different people every day and having that conversation, and it just works, man.
Well, and for me, I'll be honest, Ryan, I love what I do. I love everything about it. It's I spent years and years sitting in the same shop, not necessarily the same shop, but I'd be in a shop for years at a time, and it gets old being locked down into the same place. You go to lunch, here I get in my truck, I drive to my job, I do it, I move on to the next one. I meet different people every day. It's always a different location. Sometimes it's hot or sometimes it's raining, and then, it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but everybody wants to shop nowadays, and don't get me wrong, that's the end goal for me also. It's no point to have a shop, but I'm enjoying the mobile aspect of it right now. It's been really good for me. It's been really good mentally for me. So
yeah. So with your PDR trainer, your media trainer, what is the cost? What exactly is included in it? How does the whole thing work?
Okay, so it's $250 a year for this first year. As I get more content on it over the next year, probably around the Mega Media event time or MTE Las Vegas next year, the price is probably going to go up. If you join now, then your price will be locked in at $250 a year from now on. Okay, and basically what's included with that is the videos that I have on there already, but I'll be putting a video on there either once every week or every 2 weeks. It's just going to depend. I actually have 3 videos ready to go on there right now, and I'll post the first one tomorrow. it's basically going to get into the in-depth nuts and bolts of, you know, how to put everything together and the reason why it is. And you know, it's just going to grow. I plan on having about 50 videos on there by this time next year, covering all kinds of subjects and starting to get into some more advanced stuff, you know, because even with me, you know, doing a screen recording of it and walking you through it, you know, a few of these things you have to do a few times, you know, and you have to, it takes a while to learn. I mean, it took quite a few ads for me to get them to where I didn't have to, you know, go and research and, you know, remember or look at my notes, you know, that kind of thing. So that's awesome.
That's so gross. I'm sorry. I had to just share that.
So yeah, it's but you know, it's like I said, there's going to be tons of information on there. You know, we're just starting it out, but as time goes on, it's going to grow and grow and grow. And you know, a lot of this information that's on here, the way I learned a lot of it was to go to YouTube and you know, search through videos and I read tons of articles. But you know, you can go onto YouTube and watch 50 videos. And you might get 10 things out of those 50 videos that are just small stuff. You know, here's the thing is what I've learned is when you go to YouTube or you go and start researching about marketing nowadays, most of the information on the internet about marketing is about selling products on Amazon or selling products on selling an item. It's not about selling a service. And you're talking about a totally different thing. So I would have to take bits and pieces of things that I would learn from all these different articles and all these different stuff and piece them together and try them out to see if they worked, you know, and then I just took the stuff that worked and just made it better and made it better and made it better. But it took a while. And when I say 4 or 5 hours a night, I mean 4 or 5, 6 hours. I mean, I would get home in the afternoon. And sometimes, you know, if I had an early day, I'd get home at 3 and I wouldn't get off the computer till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Of course.
So, you know, when you're trying to learn the marketing, it becomes a second job. So I'm just trying
it's its own full-time job.
It is really its own full-time job. And, you know, once you get it going and you get things moving and, you know, you kind of got it down, it kind of, you know, it becomes easier. It doesn't take, you know, 3 hours to get a video together or, you know, it's just like we were talking about during, you know, with Quick, you know, after you put 4 or 5 videos together, it becomes easier. And then after you put 15 videos together, you start being able to critique it and do certain things to it, you know, but you have to do those things over and over. And, you know, if someone say they put an AdWords campaign together, you know, or even a post for Google My Business, which everyone should be posting every week on Google My Business. But, you know, you put a post together, you know, it might take you, you know, 5, 6, 7 times to get it right. And then you're not just talking about putting a post up for Google My Business. You know, you want to put a photo or a video there. So you need to either use Over or, you know, Final Cut Pro or even iMovie, you know, whatever to put something together or Quick to put in that post, you know. So all these things tie in together, you know, and that's kind of what I want to bring to everybody is to show them, give them all the tools right there at their fingers where they can go, okay, well, I want to do this post, but I want to put a picture up there that has, you know, this logo and has this. Well, okay, well, let me watch this video. I'm going to put this photo together. What size photo do I need? Okay, well, in this video, it shows you what's up, you know, just like that.
Now, I've got a good question for Google My Business for you. I'm going to throw you some strikes here. Is there a way to schedule your Google My Business posts?
I'm sure there is.
Swinging for them fences, boy.
Go ahead and look at that because I do all mine manually. So
this is my problem. And you looked at my Google My Business, and I have 5 different locations. So I just get in there and I switch them all up. They're all different for each one, but it still takes time. You know what I mean?
Sure, and it is, you know, and basically, you know, there are tools you can use for that too, because you can take the same post and there's some apps that you can put in there and it'll basically reword the same content, you know, where it's not exactly the same. Just switch the photo and put it on a different one. Now, can you schedule it? I'm actually going to have to look that up now because, I mean, you know, there's things like Meet Edgar and stuff like that where you can post on Facebook and it sets everything up for you and you can put a Q in. I just don't know if Meet Edgar works with Google My Business or not.
Meet Edgar. See, you're speaking Splanglish to me again.
Yeah, and I personally haven't used it myself. I know it works great. I know Mike and John and everybody use it.
Look at that. Kent giving you a little comment.
Thanks, Kent. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I try. I mean, I try and keep up to date with everything. And, I'll be frank. It's the marketing part of it isn't for everyone. Everyone needs to do it to some extent. I personally found that, and I didn't know I was going to find this, but I found that I really liked it, and it was interesting to me. So I just went and learned it. But it's not going to be that for everybody, and not everybody's going to be able to go down that rabbit hole like I did.
And what did I say to you a couple weeks? It was 2 weeks ago. I said, just fix it.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's not fun. I can do the videos, I can do the YouTube stuff, I can do social media. That shit is it's just a pain in the butt for me. So
you start talking about getting on the back end of a website, you start talking about real search engine optimization and using the right plugin, and I'm not trying to plug Mike and John's deal, but it is, it's a great system. I mean, their website builder is phenomenal. I personally don't have it because I just rebuilt my website right before they launched that, and I put so much work, and it was working, so I wasn't going to mess with it. But I had to go through and search all that. And there's a lot of people out there still with WordPress websites, and I am definitely going to put a very extensive section in there about search engine optimization, so that people with WordPress websites can know what they're looking at and get in the in the back end of theirs, and at least look at it and tell if it's done right. And another thing, if on my people who join PDR Media Trainer, they're more than welcome to call me at any time, and if they have a question, it's something that I don't have a video on, let me know what they want a video on. I think one of the big subjects we were talking about at the Mega Media event was backlinks. So, I'm definitely going to do an extensive video on backlinks, probably be one of the first SEO ones I do, because to me, that's one of the most important aspects of having it basically gives you domain authority. So it makes you an authority on the subject that your website is about. So the more backlinks you have, the more people that refer to you, or websites that refer to you.
Spanglish. So I'm going to announce this right now. The third person by Monday or Tuesday that sign up on your website wins a nice Anson glue giveaway. It's going to be like a little grab bag of
variety pack
Anson glue.
It's awesome.
So the third person, you're going to have to watch that. Hopefully it's somebody watching this show and it just wasn't random.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Yeah, because you got $250 worth of glue sitting there behind here.
So the third person by Monday, at the end of the day Monday, that sign up on his PDR Media Trainer.
PDRmediatrainer.com. Oh.
We are going to give the Anson glue grab bag.
Awesome.
Let me put this in here. Again, can you comment in there with the website? Do you see any comments or no?
What's that?
So I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to check it out and see what, content you have on there, because I'm not very good Spanglish speaker or figuring it out.
Well, and that's the reason why I made it where I did. And I explain it. I tried to explain it's each and everything where everyone can understand it and know exactly what it means. So
yeah. So are you going to be doing stuff weekly, monthly? What's your game plan?
My game plan is to do a video every week to 2 weeks. I honestly, putting the videos together it's an extremely difficult thing to do, and editing them and making sure that I have all the relevant information. So the plan is to do one once a week. But if I get on an extensive subject, it has to be a little bit more in depth, and might go be every 2 weeks. But I do plan on having 50 videos on there within the next year total. So, and with 50 videos on there, we're going to be covering, like I said, subjects, everything from, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We'll do, it's going to be YouTube, how to put your YouTube channel together, and how to put everything in the back of your YouTube videos to make sure that you got your SEO on that, because search engine optimization, I mean, for YouTube is huge too. It's the
I mean, it's helped me.
Yeah.
Because if you go into RPS Dent Repair, I'm the only one or in my area that has any videos on there.
Oh, I own the first like 7 videos for Paintless Dent Repair, hail damage repair, or whatever in Houston. I mean, it's, when you go on there, if you look up Paintless Dent Repair on YouTube in Houston, it's going to be all done by hand.
Yeah.
And that's all from SEO and marking everything right and putting all the right keywords in, and, just putting the description in correctly. And, there's a little bit of stuff on the back end. And a lot of people who do them, you try and put a video together and you think you got everything right. You put it in there and then it never shows up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of PDR, a lot of PDR videos on YouTube. So, yeah. So,
well, it's funny because Jason and I kind of met on social media, not Tinder. We're good. And then we really had a really in-depth conversation at Anson Open House.
Yeah, we did.
So, and then after that, I mean, shit, we spent an hour Uber ride from the airport to Cole's place. So
yeah, I didn't know it was that long when I flew up there.
The good thing with that industry is you find a group of guys that you can relate with. I mean, we talked the whole damn time. I'm like, I've been on a plane for 4 hours, and we're talking for a goddamn hour.
And we were late too. It was late when we got there. So, well, I have to say that I've met this business or this industry really has some awesome people in it. One right there, Benny Miracle, and awesome dude. So so it's been really, really good. I grew up in an industry with paint and body that I loved. My dad was a paint and body man, and he was my hero, and I loved the industry. I was always excited about it, and I kind of watched it go downhill over the years, and I get in, and then I get into this industry, and it's like there's a lot of really like-minded people and people who want to do good things for the industry, and there's also people that don't, but for the most part, it's been really good, and I've been lucky enough to meet people like you, and Benny, I mean, John from Dent Reaper, John Scotto, I mean, Don, everybody, and it's been awesome. So really a lot of support in everything that we do. And, everybody kind of looks out for each other, as long as you're in the, if you're in the, I don't want to say in the right group, but I mean, if I haven't really met anyone in this industry that I really don't like,
Yeah.
And I'm kind of I'm kind of a person that doesn't, spend a lot of time with, with friends and things like that. I'm kind of an A-type personality, but it's awesome to get to hang out with you guys at these different events.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. I mean, it's been a really, really good, just a good year. A lot of good events.
Yeah. The first event I went to, the first real event I went to was MTE Orlando this year, and since then I've been to Anson. I went to MTE Vegas. I went to the Mega Media event. Actually, the Mega Media event last year was the first one, so it was a Mega Media event, MTE. So it's been quite a bit of traveling this year, and it's been good, and everybody has been real open and real helpful about anything that I've needed. So I'm help other people out too.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing. She's like, I can't believe you're going to go there and give all your secrets away. And I was like, they're not secrets. I'm not Einstein recreating the wheel.
Oh, no.
I mean, Jesus. So it's been, I don't know. It's just crazy. I look at things and I'm like, I mean, I'll talk to you weekly, Scotto, Don Cavanaugh, whoever, and everybody's just like, what's the problem? Let's fix it. Let's figure this out.
Yeah. What's Aaron talking about down there? Go you halves, or are we talking about Snickers?
I think he goes, I can be third. He's trying to get the glue, but he knows that I'm a cheap ass with shipping.
Oh, we go halves. Okay. I got you. I got you. All right.
It's USA only. Sorry, Aaron. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on. I'm super excited for your new little venture of the media trainer, and I think it's a great idea because it's a tool.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's just a tool. It's a tool for a different aspect of your business.
It's for me. It's going to be a tool that is. I'm not going to be calling you saying fix it.
Yeah.
I can try to figure it out my own.
Well, and you can, and here's the thing: is you spend, these are things that you spend. You spend $1,000 a month. If you have somebody do your whole package, so you have somebody do your, maintenance on your website and your AdWords and your Facebook ads, which we will have Facebook ads and Instagram ads and stuff like that on there too. You pay. I mean, it's $1,000 a month plus your ad spend.
Now, are you helping? So if someone reaches out, they've paid. Are you kind of helping them through anything, or how? What's the?
Anyone who signs up, and to be honest, my phone number is always open. If someone needs help with something, I'm more than willing to help them. Even if you don't sign up on the website, I mean, if you need help with something, just call me. If it's something that I can help with, I mean, I hope I don't get 5,000 phone calls tomorrow, but but at the same time, if you need help, I want everybody in this business to be successul. And that's the truth. I mean, it's been good to me, and I just want everybody to be successful. I have a new kid that just, that's not too far from me that just started up. And he actually called me one day about 6 months ago and was like, hey, I need to know if this is really a good business to be in. And he'd been training with, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy who started DoorDing.com.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me and I talked to him, and he's a nice kid. And he just started up doing it part-time. He's still working in the body shop. He's a body man, but he calls me. I try and help him too. I mean, it's, like I said, there's, not that I'm trying to build my own competition, but at the same time, there's plenty of work out there for all of us. I mean,
for real, there really is.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your friendship.
Yeah.
And like I said, the third person that signs up on his media trainer, Anson Specialized Glue grab bag, I'm going to put together here. So I appreciate it, guys. Jason, how can they reach you?
You can reach me. You can either email me at jason@dentlane.com, and that's another thing. I'll show you how on there. I'll show you how to do that too. How to make it dentlane.com instead of Gmail, and or maybe your business name. But you at jason@dentlane.com. My phone number is 832-579-5541. You can call me anytime.
Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook, Dentline LLC, on both of them.
Okay.
At Dentline LLC. Yeah.
And it's PDRmediatrainer.com.
PDRmediatrainer.com. Yes, sir.
Third person. Get on there. Sign up. It's going to be worth it. And remember, guys, keep it real. I'll see you next week. I will go live on Facebook to announce the winner of the Anson Glue grab bag. See you guys. Keep it real.
Thanks again, Ryan. Thanks, guys.